Today we're looking at the DS-XL, the Nintendo DS-XL. And the problem is the screen is broken, as you can see. We're going to fix this, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Really easy. First step is to take your battery out. Then you have these rubber feet that sit. There's 4 of them there. You need to take them out. You can use a small flat tip screwdriver to pry down the hole and pull them out. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Phillips screws that you need to take and remove. Once I remove this, I'm going to take and you use this SD card section here to help lift this case up off of the other piece here. And then from there, after I get this off, I'll show you what to do next. Once you get your case loose, make sure you gently lower that back, and you'll have this connector here. Just assemble that. Now when you put this back together, make sure you put this connector here and this connector here in the proper locations. And because the way that this connector here is sitting, I'm trying to get a good picture of it, you have to lift it straight up, so you use a screwdriver underneath there. Another cable you need to take care of is this guy. You see that brown flap on top of the gold pins? You flip him up, and then you'll be able to pull the cable out. You do that for the next one, same way. And after you get your connection disconnected, these ribbon cables here, you're going to take your Wi-Fi, and you can pull straight up on it. Now if you flip it over, you got this one connector here, you need to take him off. You can just gently pull that off with a fingernail, and that one's off. After this, you got 1, 2, let's see here, there's 1, 2, there's a few screws here. I think there's just 1, 2 screws here that I can see. Take those screws off, and this board will lift straight up. And you'll be able to get to the other side and disconnect the ribbon cable from that. Gently remove the bottom screen, and you'll remove 7 screws from this board. Get a pair of tweezers. Remove these 2 items. At this point, I've already taken out the buttons so they won't fall on me in the next step. You could tape them so they stay there. Next step is to take and you slide the case up until you can get it like this. And there's this little black tab here that you'll be able to push through. So once you slide this up, I believe you'll be able to take and just unhinge this. But when you do that, be careful, because you have the camera that's attached to the back of it. This guy over here. So he's also attached to the LCD screen ribbon cable. And we're also going to have to be taking care that we make sure that these 2 connections here gets fed through. That way when we can remove this cable here through the metal slot, which we will be taking out, the black one we will be leaving here, the bigger one we'll have to eventually roll it up and then slide it through. I'll show you how to do that when I get there. I forgot to mention, after you remove the buttons, there's these 4 corner tabs here. You remove that and you remove the 4 screws. Now what I was talking about the camera camera module is right there. So what you need to do is take a small object, flat screwdriver, whatever, and pry him up so you can get him out of the way. And you don't want to break that cable. So now once that's loose, you'll be able to move that cable around. And now you have access to your back side of or on the top of your screen. Now, there is a little bit of soldering you're going to have to do, so I'm hoping you know how to solder. You will have to eventually take these speakers. There's this left speaker and there's this right speaker here. And the wire runs across the top here. And the speaker actually gets soldered onto this same little ribbon cable for the screen itself. The next we need to do is take this little plastic guy out. And we'll take this board off. And then we'll be able to slide the screen this way and take out the metal insert here. Wrap up this little orange color, copper color connection here for the ribbon cable and slide it through, leaving the black one there. And you have to make sure you remove this copper tab here, otherwise it'll just get stuck to your camera module. You also want to pull your gray and black one for your Wi-Fi out before you do any of the rest of that. So we remove this first, the other piece, take your board off for the Wi-Fi, remove your gray wire, and you'll be able to roll up the connection for this to take this off. And then we'll talk about using a soldering iron and possibly a desoldering iron to use that. Most of the time you'll just use a soldering iron, and just a Walmart brand would be fine. And you should not have to buy any more solder, but if you would, go to Radio Shack and buy the 60/40 Ryzen core solder. Do not buy Walmart brand solder. You'll have more issues than what it's worth. Trust me on that. Okay, I'm going to take this off and get to the next part of this video. Okay, now if you get your screen out, hopefully you did, just roll it up and you just slide it through, and you detach the little copper piece in the middle. Now, next step is to make sure you know which wire goes where. The shorter piece goes on the top, the longer wire goes at the bottom. Now you're just taking, the red would be to your left and black would be to your right. And you just heat it up with your soldering iron, and you replace that same wire on your new screen. And assembly, it's the same as putting it back together. You have to still roll your wire, this little cable up carefully, and slide it through. I will show you the finished product after I'm done soldering the wires on this.